Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Book Mike and You, and we are discussing Jane Eyre. So we have previously we started off, and Jane, she has had a very troubled childhood. She her her parents passed away, and her relatives did not take good care of her, and she was sent off to an orphanage. There also she had to undergo a lot of troubles and challenges, and now she's finished education and she's looking out for new opportunities. So now she's applied for a job and she's got the job, and she's just, let's see where that takes her.
Yeah,
So
she's
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 yes.
really, it shows that she wants to explore the world, right? She gets a job as a teacher at Lowood where she studied, but she's that's not enough for her. She wants to go out and experience the world. And yeah, I feel that that's a good characteristic trait in her, that she just doesn't want to settle, even though her life has slowly started becoming more comfortable. You would expect somebody like her to you want some peace, right? A few years, just live as a teacher and have a comfortable life, but that's not what she wants. She wants a change.
Yeah, she definitely likes challenges, and I think she's mentioned also that she's getting bored with the monotony of how things were going. So she wants to do something different now, and that's why she's applied for this job, and she got it also.
Oh
So
yeah.
now she's got the job as a governess at this mansion called Thornfield, and it's quite far off from where she's lived, but even then she's ready. And there she goes there and she meets. At first, she thinks Mrs. Fairfax is the
Honor of
owner of
the
the
Yeah.
mansion, but then she quickly realizes that no, she's not. She's just the like the person who takes care of the mansion, and the actual owner is Mr. Rochester,
Yeah,
and the
so
child is his. She's a little girl, and she's French, so she doesn't really converse much in English. But Jane, because she's had a good education, she speaks French fluently,
yeah, and
and
that's one of the reasons that she gets this job, right? Otherwise,
she
I
gets a
don't.
job. Yeah, and she's also very quickly able to bond with this child because of that. So previously, the child could only converse with the nurse who also speaks French, and everybody else around her speaks in English. But now she's got Jane, also her governess, who can converse fluently.
Yeah.
So
And Adele is
Jane,
a very lively child, so it's easy to bond with her. And when you see it from Jane's perspective, then it's is so different from where she comes from. Now she lives in this mansion where everything gets taken care of. All she has to do is teach this little girl, and there is somebody like Mrs. Fairfax who is very kind and gentle, and she cares about Jane as well. So there's nothing
yeah,
better that could happen. So she's leading a very comfortable life there. But this Thornfield mansion has some mystery to it, right? But there is things she does notice certain things, like
she does. Yeah, very in the beginning itself, she realizes there is some mystery surrounding the mansion, and some things are going on that she's not aware of. So she
hmm,
doesn't know if everybody is in on it, or if it's something that they're all hiding from her, or it's just her that she feels that way. She's very aware that there is something happening.
yeah, and she does also hear this strange laugh from the attic, right? And she later realizes that it's the servant,
Yeah,
like Grace Poole. She knits. I think she's the seamstress there. But she doesn't know
seamstress there.
why she's so strange. This servant is strange, and she is always in the attic. But
She's
nobody,
always in the attic, and
yeah,
she
nobody
hears
talks about.
weird noises,
Huh.
laughs, and other kinds of strange noises. But nobody talks about it. There is no talk about it. Everybody just keeping to themselves. But Jane is the only one who's noticing these things and finds it. And she's asked around also, but she's not got a satisfactory response.
Exactly.
So yes,
Yeah, so her life is going on smoothly, and as we have already talked about, Jane, she does not like the monotonicity of life, so she just wants to go out, and she gets an opportunity to do it. She wanted to go send something. Somebody wanted to send a post or something, and she volunteers, right? And she goes out, and on the way
yes.
back, she sees someone. On the way to the post office, she encounters somebody on his horse, and he was injured because the horse falls down, and she offers help, and she meets this really um a person who's you can he gives off a weird vibe, not weird I would say, but mysterious vibe, right? Even
Yeah,
though, yeah,
yes.
he doesn't want to accept Jane's help, even though he was injured. But he reluctantly then accepts, and she tells him that she stays at Thornfield Hall. And yeah, and it was not a very what to describe this meeting
I
as.
would yeah, he was just surprised that she's a governess there, and then he moves on. He refuses her helps, and she goes to the place to post the mail, and he goes away.
Yeah,
And it's only when she returns she realizes that this stranger is none other than the owner of the mansion, Mr. Rochester.
yeah,
And so her first impressions are made. So she's got the impression that he is quite rude in his own way. He's maybe not rude, she doesn't realize that, but he's not somebody you can just uh, converse with easily.
yeah. He's very authoritative and like commanding, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
she's the introductions are made, and she, because this is the first time that she's seeing them and seeing how other people are around him, she's just analyzing all of that. And she sees that the kid is very excited to see this person,
Yeah,
but
because
he does
he
not
brings a lot of
reciprocate that.
gifts, right? So
He brings a lot of gifts, and she's Adele is very happy with all of that,
yeah, Adele is actually
but
really
the
spoiled.
emotions are not the same. Oh, I mean, she's just a child, but
She's a child, but she's
yeah,
spoiled with all these gifts. So yeah,
yeah,
when you
I
compare,
would say there's a lot of overcompensation also, because we get
uh-huh,
to know that later that he doesn't really have any strong emotion towards the child, so he's doing what he can do, which is to
yeah,
bring her a lot of gifts.
yeah. So at this point, we are thinking that he's the father of the child, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So Jane does
But
ask about his past to Mrs. Fairfax, and even she does not seem to know much about it, right? She just tells Jane that something tragic happened in his early 20s or so, and after that,
yeah,
he has been the way he is, like very. He remains mysterious. So, and he travels the world a lot. You can, you know it from his description. So he has dark features. He's very brown. So probably he has traveled a lot. And yeah, that's what he does. He is very rarely at Thornfield. But
yeah.
Jane does not know what has happened to him. What is this tragic incident that has happened? So his father and brother both passed away. So he has this all property with him, but that's all that he has.
Yes. So then now, after the introductions are made, is this when he takes some sort of interest towards Jane,
Yeah, this
and
in
he
that
asks,
second meeting. I think the first meeting he did not talk much, and then later one day he asked Mrs. Fairfax to bring Jane so that they can have a conversation. And that's
Yes.
when you see his interest, yeah, in Jane. Like he is somebody in his late 30s, and Jane is 18 years old. So we have to keep in mind
Yes.
this huge age gap between them. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, he asked Jane to take a seat, and he shows his commanding nature there himself, but he apologizes because he says he doesn't know any better. This is his way. Um,
Yeah. But a
yeah,
late person in the late 30s saying that, that is just not an excuse.
yeah, and
Saying that they don't know any better.
and he asks her to keep talking, right? Like he wants to know her
Yeah.
more, and that is very strange. That really comes across as like it terrifies me that somebody of his age would even take interest in a girl of 18.
Yeah, and
But
also the way he talks to her. So probably Jane is a quiet person because she's not had that kind of interactions throughout her whole life. She
hmm,
was brought up in a very different way. So when she's trying to keep to herself and she answers all the questions, whatever he asks, she gives proper responses. But he just keeps sort of like egging her on, like keep talking, tell me something, talk
yeah,
about something.
yeah,
And when
because he
she's
wants to
lost,
know her more. Um,
yeah, he wants to know more about her.
And I think he finds her different from other people her age. So he thinks
At the,
that she is more intellectual. So
hmm.
there is, yeah, substance in her, but uh, yeah, but he, on the other hand, he would come across as intelligent to Jane because she's just 18. But if you're older, then I don't think there is much substance in his conversation, the way he speaks.
No, yeah.
Yeah, because he definitely has experience. So because of that, he would sound intelligent, but yeah, to an 18-year-old, but not to a 30-year-old. But I think Jane does not know that, right? She's just 18, so she thinks he's an intelligent man, but not very handsome.
Yeah,
Um,
and she's quite honest about it. I think maybe that's what created that interest for him because he asks her opinion about his physical looks, and
yeah,
she says that he's very average or something like that, and he's surprised by this very honest reply because usually probably what he's heard is that he's quite handsome, people around him, they would try to please him and they would say things like that, but this girl here has given
yeah,
him an honest reply.
yeah,
So maybe
yeah.
that's why
That
he's very
piques
intrigued
his
by her.
interest for sure.
Yeah,
And she,
and there is
and,
this
mhm,
part where he's judging her drawing skills. He asks her if she draws, she says yes, and she brings in her pictures, and he says it's very mediocre or something like that.
yeah,
So I found that quite rude because he forced her to show those paintings, and then he says that. So it's just, on the whole, I just thought he was. If I had to describe his character, at least from this part, I would say it's just
yeah.
rude to her.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and pretty creepy as well. The way, why would he
Creepy,
ask
yes.
her opinion about how he looks? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's her employer, and that he should have kept that distance between them. Or yeah, their conversation should
From
have
the
been just
reader's perspective, we know that this person, this Mr. Rochester, has interest in her.
hmm.
We can see
Yeah.
that, but Jane is unaware about this.
Yeah, because she's too young. If you're older, like anybody would understand, I think.
I think it's also her background because she feels that nobody would want her
Hmm.
because she's been told that when it comes to her looks also she's very average. She doesn't have any striking features, and then the upbringing, she was brought up in orphanage, she did a schooling there, she taught there, so she feels like she's not worthwhile. And why would somebody like this, somebody who's so wealthy, why would somebody like that be interested in her?
Yeah, that is also true. Yeah, so she completely does not see this interest that Mr. Rochester has in her. And in the next days, they don't talk much, but they have a brief conversation about how he met Adele's mother.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And
mhm. So he was in France, so we know that he's a traveler, and he meets this ballerina, this French ballerina who is very charismatic. And yeah, he falls. Yeah, I don't know whether he fell in love, but they were in a relationship. But she cheats on him, and then leaves a baby to be taken care of. And then she elopes with somebody else, leaving Adele in care of Mr. Rochester.
yes.
Yeah, and he
So,
also believes that Adele is not his.
yeah.
Yeah, so and Jane feels so bad for Adele, and she feels more attached to Adele now because she sees the similarity in her and Adele.
Yeah. Yes.
Because they are both
Yes.
orphans who does not have parents, or the caretakers actually do not care for them in the
I
true
think he also, so he, Mr. Rochester, after this conversation, he asks her if she will have something against Adele now that she knows the truth about her parents or all that.
oh
And
yeah.
she says
Mm.
no, all the more she's going to love the child because she realizes that she's more or less like an orphan. She doesn't really have parents.
Hmm.
And yeah, maybe she could see the similarities between her and Adele.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
and
just
Mr.
thought that was also like
Rochester is
a
not at all emotionally attached to Adele, right? All he does is, yeah, brings gifts, as you said before. Like he overcompensates with because he cannot give her any kind of emotional love or support.
yes, yes. I think we see the contrast between the characters right now. Jane has said that all the more she's going to love this child
Hmm.
more than before.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, so we
that's our
start
Jane.
seeing the flaws. Yeah, from the beginning, we see his flaws. Yeah, he's a
Hmm,
really flawed character, right? He's the hero of this novel, but yeah, totally flawed. Uh,
totally. Yes.
yeah, and then the next important thing that happens is at night that this fire breaks out. So somebody has lit a fire in Mr. Rochester's room.
Hmm,
So Jane hears this commotion. He also hears the strange laugh that she has heard before. And then
yes.
she runs over to his room. So we know that the story happens in 1800s. Back in the day, we did not have lights, so they were
Oh
using
yeah.
candles. So it could be that the candle somehow accidentally caught fire, the curtains accidentally caught fire, or somebody lit it on fire. So Jane rushes to his room because she hears this commotion, but Mr. Rochester is completely asleep. And then she wakes him up by pouring water on the curtains. And then, um,
Yes. And when he wakes up, he realizes what has happened. But his first response is, or the first thing he asks her is whether she's the one who did it. She's the one who created the fire.
yeah.
And she says, no, it's not. She was just trying to put it out. And she tells him what she's heard, that she's heard some strange noises and she's heard that strange laugh, and she thinks it's Grace, the servant.
Hmm. Has
So
done
he
it.
listens. Yeah, so he listens to all of this, and then he asks her not to tell this to anybody else.
Yeah. Is very secretive about it. I mean, this is not what you would expect from somebody who could have right now died, right? He does not. He
Yeah.
just rushes. He outside. He goes behind Grace Pool, and Jane does not know what happens. He asks her to stay in the room, and he leaves, and he later comes back, and he yeah,
To
and
her room, which is
he,
again,
huh?
yeah. He goes, doesn't he go to her room?
Yeah, yeah.
And
In
then,
Grace's, yeah. So, which is very strange. You wouldn't do that as a potential victim. So Jane does as she was told. So she stays in his room waiting for him. He comes back and yeah, he takes this promise from her that she would not talk about this. And then yeah, he holds her hand and thanks her for saving his life.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a pivotal moment in the book, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so this is when you really realize that he has feelings for Jane. And he
And also
doesn't
Jane,
want
I
to.
think
He realizes it
it's
too.
from this point. It's from this point that she also starts to have those feelings for him.
So yeah, I think yeah. That's so he does not want to leave her hand, right? And he's taken aback that she's going back to her room to sleep.
Yes, she wants to. Yeah.
So yeah, he is surprised, but then he lets her go, and then Jane is back in her room, and she starts thinking about what has happened, or whether he has some feelings for her, yeah, though she is in this typical, early budding love story phase.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but this brings me back to uh, this makes me think that generally when somebody shows interest in you, why is it that you start liking them? Not interest in you, but until then you don't like them, and then isn't it so?
It is. Yeah. I think it's just that
It's
like,
strange. Like just
it
what
is
has
true.
happened here is just because she started realizing that he likes her, she starts to like him back, which doesn't make sense.
But I
But
think
but
in
it
this story, at
happens.
least,
Yeah. Huh?
she she was interested. The only thing that held her back was the background because
Oh,
he's
okay,
very
okay.
wealthy and she's not. That
Mhm.
she knows that this is never going to work. So that was the only thing that held her back. And now
Oh.
more and more this person, and she does observe his how he talks and how he is with her.
Hmm.
And she also knows that he's not like this with other people in the house. There are a lot of employees in the house and he's not shown any interest to any of them.
Yeah.
So at this point
And
he's
he's also a
very
good
open.
employer, by the way, because we don't see any instance in the novel where he is treating any of his servants poorly. So,
Oh, yeah, maybe those were very high qualities, and those, I mean, even now, but all
hmm,
the more in those days,
those
those are
days,
really high
right? Yeah.
qualities. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a gentleman for sure, but he's not terrible. Yeah, he's not bad. Yeah. So, at least to his servants. Yeah. So, what happens? Yes, and then the next day morning, so Jane wakes up wanting to see Mr. Rochester because of what has happened last night. Now she has this new ignited feelings in her, which she has not experienced before. This is an 18-year-old girl,
Yes.
then this is happening for the first time, so it's all butterflies for her. And she does not find him anywhere, so she hopes to see him in the evening. She hopes that he would ask for her and send for her, but he doesn't. And she inquires about him to Mrs. Fairfax, and she gets told that he left to the nearby town and won't be back for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, and this
Yes.
is it's strange. It's a setback. So we'll see why he has done it, why what is happening. So after 2 weeks, yeah, and he's going to come back with a party of like 10, 20 people or so.
Yes.
All
So
from his same social class, and yeah, and these party would be staying at Thornfield for a while. And she also gets to know about this character called Blanche Ingram, who is a woman of 25 years old, who's very accomplished. and beautiful, according to Mrs. Fairfax, and that they both are, and Mr. Rochester might get married to her. So this is a rumor, or isn't it so? Like Mrs. Fairfax thinks that, there is something there.
Yeah, and she's quite right, because maybe previously they've held such events and there was talk about something. So
Huh.
it's
Something
not
could
baseless
actually
rumors. Something.
happening between them. Yeah, yeah, it's not just a, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't remember the details. So Jane is taken aback and then she is brought back to the ground from her clouds. And then
Hmm.
she's a good artist. So maybe she's, I think, a mediocre pianist, but she's a good artist, whatever Mr. Rochester says. But in the book, we see that she can draw people well, like to the T. She
Yes.
can capture people's features. So she draws a picture of herself, very plain with all her flaws, and then she draws a picture of a perfect woman. So who could be Miss Ingram. So she draws her
Yes.
beautifully. She uses the best color she has, and she puts all her effort and creates her like a beautiful woman. And then she compares the pictures, right? A picture of her and Miss Ingram. And this is when you see that Jane does not let herself be in a fantasy world. She does not live in a dream world. She tries to accept reality, and she wants to
Okay.
yeah, she wants to come back. So this, I think, this is a way for her to bring her back to reality. She wants to tell herself somehow that, see, this is you and this is Miss Ingram, and there is no way Mr. Rochester would choose you over her. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and then the party arrives after, after 2 weeks, and Jane, of course, how much ever you try to hide your feelings or to turn away from it, it's still there. So she,
It's still there, but don't you think she's such a good governess to little Adele? Because Adele is very keen on parties, and she's a child, so she's very excited with the party, and she wants to get dressed up, and Jane is indulging her, right? Even though her mind is elsewhere,
mm,
she's very present for Adele.
yeah, that
So
is,
I thought that was such a good quality.
yeah,
She still has to do her job. It is pretty much a 24-hour job
yeah,
because they live at
exactly.
the same place.
A governess is like a
She's
teacher who stays in the house with you, right?
Yeah, so even after those hours, even after the academic hours are over, you still
Hmm.
need to be a teacher. You're
Yeah,
always a teacher to that kid, teacher
yeah,
or a caretaker or so many things. You have to be all those. And Jane is very good at that.
yeah,
Even though her mind is running havoc with all these thoughts, she manages to do her job very well.
yeah. So the whole Thornfield Hall had been undergoing a renovation. Everybody were cleaning things. They were preparing for this arrival of the guest. And finally, the evening comes and the party arrives. And that night, there was a meeting, right? So not meeting. What is it called? A ball? Not a ball. So there was something. What do you call it? So all of
Yeah, it
them
is.
dresses up, and then yeah, they meet for dinner.
Hmm.
Yeah, so Jane uh, knows that she has no place there, so she does not prepare herself at all. So she uh, could, but Adele wants to take part in this party, this party that's happening in the evening. Um, but Adele try she Jane tries to console Adele, telling her that you might not be, she knows that Adele might not be wanted there because there will be questions about Adele, um,
Hmm.
and his
Yeah.
potential partner might not want this kid to be there. So,
Oh,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so she tries to convince Adele to not uh, go to the party. But later, Mrs. Fairfax tells Jane that Mr. Rochester has specially requested Jane to be there, and Adele can also join. So Jane picks out one of her nice dresses. So she has only two. So
Hmm.
she picks the best one because it's a party, and just for that. It's not that she wants to impress anybody. Yeah, and then they go downstairs and at the party, and she meets um all the guests. So they are from this high social
Hmm.
class, and she is out of place there, so she hides behind a curtain. She stays in the shadows near the curtains, and then she observes everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, and her impression of Miss Ingram is that she is mm, proud and boastful. She's very pretty though. Yeah,
Hmm.
but personality wise, yeah, she does not impress Jane.
Okay. Yes. So she's just standing there and observing all the guests, and she's trying to understand them, right? I think she's also a very good observer of people. Like she can understand their characteristics by looking at them. So she's trying to do that. And she's also not, this is probably the first event that she's taken part, right? She's not been to any parties or any social
Hmm.
events. So she's just standing quietly and observing. And doesn't he take an interest at this point,
No,
Mr.
he
Rochester?
completely ignores her, doesn't he?
Okay.
He does. So that was strange to me because at that point I did not know what he was trying to do, and I felt bad for Jane. So after a while, yeah, he keeps talking to these elegant ladies, yeah, without even talking to Jane once. So after a point of time, Jane feels like okay, she has attended the party, she has kept her word that she would attend, and she goes to bed. She tries to go back to her room, and that's when Mr. Rochester stops her and tells her to stay. Right, so he is giving off these
Right.
mixed signals. So first
I
he's
think
mm,
so. So that means he is constantly observing her, what she's
yes,
doing.
exactly.
So he's trying to analyze her, how she's
Reacting
conducting
to
herself in these
uh
kind of events.
yeah, and yeah, how she is reacting to Miss Ingram because he knows that she has heard about it. Yeah, so this goes on for a few days, right? Every day people are there. And then oh yeah, one day they play this game where I think it's current days dumb charades.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, back in the day it was yeah, it was it's not dumb charades, it's just yeah, charades. So they have to create a scene and people have to guess what is going on. So Miss Ingram and he was in a team, and then they dress up as a bride and groom, and people have to. So what the scene was marriage or something, and then people guess that is marriage, and he is actively flirting with Mrs. Ingram and Miss Ingram, and Jane is just watching. So Jane slowly
Hmm.
realizes that yes, this is what is going to happen, even though she finds Miss Ingram not compatible with Mr. Rochester. She thinks that this is what is going to happen because she is also from a rich family. Um, yeah, so she kinds of accepts this.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so then what happens? Yeah, so that's how it goes. And later, one day, Mr. Rochester is away. He is not to be seen. So somebody comes to as a fortune teller. So all the
Yeah.
members, yeah, his guests, they are very excited to know about the future. So they go one by one and meets this fortune teller. And yeah, Miss Ingram was not happy with what was told to her. So she comes back and um, yeah. So this fortune teller is adamant on reading Jane's
Jane.
mind.
Yes.
So Jane goes and yeah, she tries to drill her. Like she tries to get information from her. That's how it was, right? So she asks her, "Is there somebody that you're interested in? Is there someone she wants to know something from Jane?" So, but Jane does not uh let her guard down. So she does not say anything about her feelings for Mr. Rochester. So it's then that she realizes this woman was Mr. Rochester in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird. Creepy.
This is when you realize that this does not happen in real life. So in this novel, it's not very reality, it's very close to reality, like Pride and Prejudice, the last book that we have discussed. But
Mm.
yeah, but it's fun though. Things like this.
I think so. Like when you from that the way the author has created this, that is must have taken quite some imagination, right, to come up with something like this and to put it into word and make it sound effective. So that is
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
pretty well done.
Yeah,
It
really.
is a
Like I
classic.
enjoyed this book. I think more than
Yes, it
Pride
is.
and Prejudice for sure.
Okay. I definitely enjoyed this part with the fortune teller, and then when it's revealed that it's Mr. Rochester, I thought that is it is a fun read.
Yeah. Well, I
So
think
it is around this point, right, that there's a new guest in this event.
oh yes, and somebody, yeah. So Jane informs Mr. Yeah, somebody Jane gets to know that there is a guest named Mr. Mason who wants to meet and talk to Mr. Rochester, and she conveys this information to Mr. Rochester, and he is completely taken aback. He's shocked,
Hmm. He's
and
shocked.
so yeah, there is some mystery uh
Yeah.
behind this Mr. Mason. So yeah, let's see what happens in the next episode. So this is a good place to stop.
Yes. And now things are starting to get really exciting. So we'll see what happens. Do join us for
Yeah.
our next episode, and we'll get to know
Yes.
what happens. So take care and bye.
Bye bye.